Hello, everyone. It is the second part of Human Spirit. My name is Bill Tarter. Just to remember to say that because I've done so many sessions where I forget to say my name or ask for the person's name and just start working. Information's information. Um, so, where did it pick up off? The human spirit, action work. What is an individual? What can an individual do to um, go further into working with that? I talked about last time communicating with your human spirit and just starting talking, trying to get that inner world dialogue going on. Sometimes it's weird because we don't always. You may hear voices answer back to you, but it really could just be repetitive thoughts. It could be what a lot of people talk about, like I mentioned the programming, but like parental tapes has been mentioned before, where it's the instructions you were giving when you were younger, and it's just that recording playing over and over again. So you get like an instant response, like you shouldn't do that. That's very, very, very bad. You're being bad, and that's coming through your head. That can apply in many different topics. From oh my god, I'm being so bad. I shouldn't do this. Oh no, and that's tricky because that's why you got to. That is why there's a need to constantly work with yourself to understand is that yourself pushing you past the limit, past a false belief, a line that you've drawn, which really isn't anything bad, but for you it's bad because you've held yourself with such tight constraints of you can't do this and this is the type of person you are. So that's that programming, that built up uh, equation in your head of this plus this equals this. Um, I am this type of person, so I must do this to equal this response. It's calculative um, thinking. I'm not always best with conjugation, but that's okay. I used to be better, but I don't know. Spirit mind, as long as the word gets out, I guess. So anyway, so working with yourself and questioning yourself. So it's like at first it's relentless and ridiculous to constantly question yourself because it's like it feels, well, I mean, you are going against yourself. Basically, you're challenging yourself and all the bullshit that you put inside of you. um, and that's the challenge. It's you against you versus you, and it can get ugly. Because it's weird at what can happen, at what response you get back, and then you just challenge the response you got back. Is this truly me, or did I hear this from someone? Like I said before, we take in a lot of information daily. We're just bombarded by it, just because that's how society is nowadays, with billboards everywhere. Um, excuse me. This wonderful little phone that is in front of me that's recording this video is a great, great tool and a great thing. Tracking device if someone's lost. I mean, there's so many great things to it. However, it is a distraction. Is it necessary? Not really. It's a benefit. So you want to challenge yourself because you've taken a lot of information from this little recording device, this phone. Um, we're starting to see the downside of phones because now we can be tracked, hacked into. People can record us when we don't know it. Not so fun. Um, but anyway, so like that whole people battling each other is, I mean, the oppressed and the oppressor. It's a recurring theme that's been going on in life for years. It's in the Bible. Um, I mean, I guess you can kind of see in Cain and Abel if you want to refer to that, because one person felt like they didn't have what the other person had. One brother felt like the other brother had something else. So it was like, I don't have this oppression. Oh, so let me kill you. Um, and I mean, there's war. From a long time ago. So challenging yourself and that constant question, where did I get this? Where is this information? Is this even my information? That's really what you want to find out. Is this my information, or did I read it? And is it valid? There's a lot of information that's great and wonderful, and they're facts. I only have one hand available right now because I'm holding my selfie stick right now to record this, but imagine the other one. So, in quotation marks, like a lot of stuff is facts, and people hold strong to facts. Well, the stuff's proven, yes. Is it a truth? I mean, how far out can you go with that? In dimensions, or even the universe, we only get so far in the universe. So, how far can we fact check? Um, but we have a lot of great information to help us keep in guidelines. And up until now, we have this information. It's kept a lot of people from dying, eating the wrong thing, so we don't die. So that's all great. Um, a lot of good information has been lost. So if you think about that in you, a lot of good information has been lost inside yourself. So you want to challenge that and keep going inside. Uh, that's the inward walk to you. Um, so challenge yourselves. Where did I get this? That's where meditation can be important, because you're trying to quiet your mind and all of these thoughts, all of this information swirling around in your head, um, and clear it out so you can actually start to hear your voice, your inner voice. Um, and at some point, you can decipher a discern, which is a gift you can ask for, um, or one you may already have, you can cultivate. Discern if it's your voice, if it's a spirit guide's voice, which could be an array of things, angels, like I said, fairies before, ogres, ghouls, dragons. They communicate. So it's psychically, it's intellectually things can communicate with you, but you want to clear out all this other stuff so you can make sure it's real. Now, other voices that can get inside of your head. So obviously, positive and for reinforcement, positive voices is great. That's let's move, let's get through things. The challenging voices can be the darker voices. You'll never make it. You'll never be anything. Excuse me. You're a piece of shit. I mean, that can be stuck in a lot of people's head. There's a lot of other words I've heard walking past people, that I hear that's trapped in their head. And it's not necessarily what they believe. It's somebody told them at some point that's what they are, and they believed it. Or they told themselves at one point that's what they are, and they believed it. And that's trapped in their head, and I can actually hear it walking by. Um, and it's sad. So it's like that's what you want to get inside and get that and find it and grab it and get it out of you so you can be freer. Because, I mean, oppression from years ago can last through generations, just repeated. Um, if you think there's like one generation, I mean, that's a long lifetime to be oppressed. If you want to think about over the years of people being held captive, slavery, that's a rough thing to get out of a family, out of a mentality, because we do pass down mentalities through our family, and personality can come into play, and that's another long topic about personality. But so that mentality can be passed along, so you can break that. It takes a lot for people to break out of that, because you again, it feels normal because your environment you're raised in, um, it's what you know. So how do you know anything? What everything else is weird sometimes, especially if you have like really deep dysfunction in your family, or a family that's against each other. They are not supportive towards each other. Um, so everyone's against each other. Not a good thing. But it's difficult to break that, and not everybody in the family wants to break that because they think they're fine. This is what the family is. This is what we are. That's it. That's not true. It's never true. You are what you are until you change what you are, or you let go of what you are. So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is letting go of who you are. The whole letting go, um, of unnecessary things, thoughts, ideologies, perceptions, the equations in your head. If you would have known me years ago, woof, my little mouth would have gone off. I was good at facts. I was also good at bullshitting a lot of times too. Not that I am now, uh, but I was really quick mouth, and like my brain just remembered stuff and it would just fire off. And it was okay, but I mean, what did it really do for me? Nothing. I don't know. So what? I could remember something. I feel like I got used a lot, but I also just gave away myself to a lot of people because I was like, I'm here to help people. Let me help people. A little confused on that. I had to work on that one too and clear that out, which is a lot of caregivers, a lot of people with abilities are confused about this giving and helping. Um, of course, help someone if you can. The old adage or phrase, you can't help someone truly until you help yourself. Um, More of what that means is you yes you can help the whole world out, and you're helping them as much as far as you've gotten. You can help them, or you'll just be there giving your time. So what happens with that though is, where are you in that? And where if there's no give back and you're always giving, where's your time? Where's your value? Where's your worth? Where's the time for you to cultivate yourself and grow if you're constantly helping other people and if people are only taking, and they're building something or gaining something. um, it could be property, it could be a house, it could be they're bettering themselves in other ways. And I won't go deeply spiritual with that because a lot of times most people don't, because that's not the setup. But um, they're not. They're just they're getting stuff done for free. Well, you did do some work. Talk about doing stuff for free. You could, consider that to be a slave. You're a slave to other people, and that's not good. Slave to mentality. I mean, you can really take words and apply it to everything. And once you start doing that, you're like, wow, that's pretty deep. Well, let me stop that. Like, um, so you can break those cycles, break those thoughts, and really start to cultivate that. People with abilities, especially, because if you're empathic, or um, your intuition's developed, or you developed it into being able to feel out further, instead of just um, cautionary feelings. Um, you can go for that with that. Well, excuse me. You can feel sorry. There's a little trail of something that I saw that I guess I'll be talking about in a minute. I guess I can't really, it went quick. There's some darker information to go along with this too, but so now I lost my train of thought. So let's talk about the dark information, since I've been totally blindsided, and this is how a distraction can happen, and especially a darker one. So we'll talk about the darker forces. Within this, getting to know yourself, and within this, and those are can be considered darker forces. However, a lot of this is human, perpetuated. These are human things. Darkness begets darkness. It could certainly. Some people like the dark, like staying in it because it's easier, so to say. But where's the joy in that? Where's the fun? Where's the love? Where's the excitement? Where's that if you're always dark? So trying to work towards a good balance. As I hear a voice in my head says, there you go. So I'm rounding the point out, because I don't want to be all light, because that's not the truth of this world, is to be all light and fluffy and everything's perfect, everything's great, it's so an awe. I have been through some deep spiritual changes, and it was like an emotional roller coaster. I would go from 1 minute to being very, very thankful, and this immense love washing over me, to a deep pit that I was in. And that is a spiritual journey. That is working on your issues. So it wasn't all this. I mean, we're in this realm. This is what we've created. This is humanity. This is the earth realm. This is We've perpetuated all this energy, and it's built up around us, and we're not cleaning it out. We're not doing anything. We have people holding on to people that are dead. Well, don't hold them there. If they don't want to be here, hell, I'd be pissed off too. It's not that they can't come back and visit, but let them go. They're dead. You're alive. Rejoice that you're alive. Be happy you're alive. They lived their life. They've passed on. Remember them. Doesn't mean you don't love them if you let them go. So it will be difficult for me, because I do work with both light and dark energies. Like I said, the devout Jesus people and the Bible people probably won't hang with this too long, but that's okay, because you'll pick back up later. Um, I'm more of a kid on the street. I'm more of like the out in the woods magic kind of guy. Although I do value the church and do value what it can help, how it can help people. I just wish some parts of the church and some people in the church would let go of the fear and let go of the word, um, so to say, and they want to say the word. Well, let it go. Don't the word's out there. The energy's around everywhere. It will get to the person, and they can receive it. Um, but you holding on to fear, you got to let go of the fear. And that's for everyone. Let go of that fear and work through. Well, sorry, I'm gonna backtrack for a minute. This letting go thing, yes, you want to let go, but you need to do work before you let it go. You can't just poof and it's gone. That's not true. It's not true, and it won't be true for you. You can think. I mean, a lot of people do that their whole life. Oh, yeah, I already worked on that. No, you didn't. You'll know when you work on it. Most of the time, you'll relive it, and the trick is to realize you're reliving it because it's my chance to work through it and actually work through it this time and come out of it to let it go. Not just, oh, I let go. I mean, you let go stuff all day long. You know what I mean? You'll have a trail of stuff behind you, but you want to let go. You know what I mean? So when you're finished with it and your hands moving to kind of dump it out, if you want to go that way, it's the only physical image I give right now. Dump it out. You're pouring it out, and it's energy. It can be recycled. It can be reused instead of dark, or it can just be a better place than you. Um, as I've said, and I'll continue, all this stuff is really complex to just say. Um, what else about working on you? On yourself. So the dark is there, and your dark spots. Everybody calls it your inner demons. That is a thing. You created your own dark space in there, and you're holding on to it. Energy is meant to move. Things are meant to change. So you've got to let it. So you hold on to it. It just creates this dark spot in you. Um, and then at one point you want to defend it because it is yours. Is it an outside demon? No, you created it. So, as it's been said over and over again, we are more powerful than we know. So we got to start being more responsible about that. But it also seems that I don't know. I feel in me that there's not a further message about how and what to do, and I feel like that is a huge calling for me, as I've been in everybody's face. When I woke up to my gifts, I was ready to tell everybody. I was ready to talk. I was so excited for holding back all those years, this inside world, and I mean, I was using it and connecting with my gifts. I just didn't fully understand it until God was like, "That's time's over. It's time for me to wake up." So I knew I had a calling at a very young age, and I was just walking up the street and talking to myself like I usually do and having an inner conversation. I'd get answers back. Which is what I do now. But I was walking up, and then I just all of a sudden I heard, which is now I understand a little bit more of when Father God comes in, and it just all of a sudden my response was, but I don't want to go to church. No one will come see me, and that was my response to God. I'm not for sure if I said Father or God at that point. I was still a little shaky about God at that point because this world sucks and people are mean, and that's not what I was. Um, and I had to toughen up to make it through. So heck no, like I don't know, especially when like I would hear like tarot cards and all this stuff's bad, and that's the stuff I was drawn to. Like I don't know, so it was like this conflict, and it's like, well, I don't want to be bad if that's what bad is. So it's like youthful things of where you're trying to establish good from evil, which is, I mean, on the other side, like us humans like to do a lot of good or bad, um, instead of seeing, oh, this is destruction to clear out, to give a rebirth to new things, or to move old things out of the way that won't move. Like it's just, that's another topic, but um, that's what goes on. So, and this is stuff that you can set up in your head that derails you later in life or keeps you from moving forward. Those equations, those thoughts, like this is what it is to be evil. I don't want to be evil, so I won't do that. Now, of course, taking a life is never acceptable. Never. Um, which again is another complicated. I mean, if you're someone that's built with a gift to cross someone over, you wouldn't kill them. You would just help them as they're dying naturally to cross over. Um, Again, maybe I should make a list. This is the whole sideline of like a lot of like topics I want to talk about. So I guess if I stay here, I can rewatch this and then go over them later. Anyway, so back onto yourself. So that's another thing, is how you can set yourself up when you're younger. You're just innocently trying to figure out things um, because it's confusing. And if you have a little bit of gifts when you wake up, meaning born, sorry, when you're born into this world, and you walk through it, that's it's tricky. It's difficult because not everybody has gifts that they're open to, and there's a lot of people that don't have gifts at all. Doesn't mean anybody's better than anybody. I'm not better than anyone else. Just different purposes, different causes, and it's a balance to remember that spirit's here, and you have someone that can communicate to the other side. Um, and hopefully, the person that has gifts and abilities is still working on themselves, has done the majority of the work to clean themselves out, so they can really be a clear vessel to channel and to talk about this honestly. And you really want to like wreck your insides and demolish everything and clean it out and let it be rebuilt on solid ground, so you can really clearly um, help people and really connect and talk to people. And you have to give up a lot, which is what I need to bring up. Like, there's a lot to give up, and it's like you lose humanity. I don't feel human a lot of times because things I used to do I no longer do. I gave up a lot of things. I gave up a lot of friends. I had to pull away. I separated from my family for quite a while to clear myself out. This is just what my I was called to do. I was walking with God, and that's what I was called to do, was to clear all of this stuff out, because I finally got a taste of what I am and what He made me to do, and what my purpose was, which I kind of already had known. I was like 8 when I felt that calling, or when God put a calling in me, if you want, which is more or less what happened. Sorry, I'm trying to say these things more humanly. Than I normally would, which might be overwhelming. But um, so I think about that. That was when I was like, crap, I was like 9 or 10. I can't remember, around that age. And it was like 30, beginning of my 30s, I started waking up, and I'm now 40. I mean, you think that how long that gap was where I was afraid of myself, my gifts. Things didn't match up. Um, like what I felt from people and what they told me were two different things. It was so confusing. A lot of the times, I just heard this song called "Here." That was me at parties a lot because I was like, "This is so weird." So I got good at acting. I got good at playing a part of things, and I guess I used my gifts a lot because I could anticipate things and see into people. I just didn't know what I was doing, so I had to rectify that. Now I know what I'm doing, and now I know um, that a lot of people will just say stuff because they're afraid to face the truth, afraid to say their truth because they think somebody owns them, or that vulnerability when you say your truth. I mean, it's scary, but it does set you free because no one owns you. No one owns you. It's not a truth. I mean, think about the creator, God who made you, gave you free will. You can't trump that. Like, that's God gave you free will and He made you. So, um, which is a gift and an ability. um, on the other side, I'm not going to say it's not like free range, but there is an order of things. Like there's order and chaos theory. There is. I mean, over on the other side, there is. It's just what is to be done. It's like it's already been played out, so you just kind of follow along. That's kind of what I do now. It's already been written. I already know big huge parts of my life, so it's just like I have to do the working part of it. So on the other side, there's just like it's kind of like a hierarchy, and people spirits understand um, what their role is and what to do. Um, from what I've seen, there's plenty else that goes on that has probably never been seen by other spirits' eyes. Um, let alone human eyes. So anyway, I think I got way off the topic. Back onto so just experiences. So it took a long time for me to I had to clear out, let go of smoking, which is all these it was weird at first. I was kind of frustrated, but it was easier. And I didn't do it alone. I had a lot of spirits helping me change. A lot of angels doing work at me at night to help clean me out and all of this, and prepare me for this, because this is just what my fate, my destiny, what was written. I just couldn't deny it any longer because it was hurting myself, denying my truth, denying me, and that it does hurt yourself. And you can go down a dark path by denying yourself because you don't want to be yourself. Um, Part of it was a lot of fear of like backlash. Already felt like was isolated alone, so I didn't want to go further out into that. Yet I kept being pushed out into like situations um and then further, later I was okay with that. So anyway, that's part of it too, is you're gonna have to give up things, human things. Doesn't mean you can't get them back in some form, or it might just be less, but people are afraid to give up stuff. um and a lot of times you're like, oh, well, I guess I don't miss it, so I guess you even need it. But you're so that habitual, that repetitive way. We're very repetitive. It's exhausting how repetitive we are. Um, so back to the habitual thinking, like you have repetitive thoughts, you got to catch them suckers. So the best way to do that is slow down and start questioning yourself. The id, I guess, or your conscious mind. You want to start questioning that, like, why do I say that? Why do I do this? And that's a lot of your daily work is, why do I do this? Why do I say this? That's the question work you want to do. Where did this come from? Is this some pain I forgot about? Am I hiding pain from myself? We are very tricky beings and complex. I'll say that as well. So to catch something, it can take a lot of work, and your body is amazing at wonderful. Your mind, your brain, your conscious, subconscious mind, all of this is wonderful at safeguarding you, so you can keep moving forward. So you want to keep working into. You might have to relieve one trauma, resolve one trauma to help another one emerge that you'll be ready for. So then you just trust your system and realize that your body will let you give you what you can handle. That's the inner work. That's you. That's working with your spirit. It's closer to you. Your human spirit knows, so it will help give things back to you so you can remember. And a lot of times it might be really small, but you go, oh my god, I was like 13 when that happened. Oh, I see now. That's the only perspective I had when I was 13, and now, oh, well, there's a big difference. And whoop, all of a sudden, like, either images or feelings or this thought starts racing in your mind. You're like, whoa, 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 oh, I've been following that since 13. How inaccurate is that? That's crazy. Um, um, so that's why you want to sit still and try to catch all of that, and calm yourself. And a lot of people don't want to be alone, so they will try to take up your time. They will try to spend time with you, and you have to be strong enough to say, I need some time alone. And what does that even mean? What the hell is that in a world or in a realm surrounded by other things where there's a lot of things around you? You can get your time, though. You can get your own little space, even in the spirit realm, your own little time away. So it can happen. You might have to work for it. That fight, that battle, is you just basically standing up for yourself, and that could be a lesson with that you can learn to realize. Oh, I just need to stand up for myself more and just say no. We'll get together again another time, or I don't want to be with myself. I don't want to be alone. I can't be. Oh my god, I can't be alone. 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 Whatever. You can sit there and you'll start realizing, oh, why am I afraid to be alone? What's wrong with that? That's a trauma. That's a red flag right there. You can be like, oh, I have abandonment issues because when I was younger, I don't. My parents walked 5 aisles down in the store from me, and I got scared because I couldn't find them and I didn't know where they were. And I got scared and I got scared, and they came around. Well, that was a for real trauma for you. You thought you were lost by your parents. What could you do? You're a kid. That can stick, and that can manifest into a whole bunch of stuff. From sleeping around to people, just trying to fill a void, to constantly surrounding yourself with someone or people, or constantly moving and doing because you're afraid to sit with yourself for I don't know, 2 days. Um, that's you running from yourself. That's you running from a trauma, you know. And the human spirit, I posted this earlier. The human spirit, if you don't, I mean, you're same thing. Soul and spirit. I mean, they're there to help you, and a part of you. They can just walk away. They don't have to be with you. They can just walk away if they're not needed. You know, then like when you holler, they might come. So that's, you really want to start working to build back up that relationship with them, with your inner self and your human spirit, to get back in that tag team mode of like, this isn't right, this is wrong. And there are a lot of people that are in a good alignment, and are okay with where they're at, and it just seems to work well. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that happens that to get that to work well. Um, what are you saying no to? I'm gonna try to clarify this real quick. No to what? So the basically what I they was just told no, so they want me to clarify. There is a lot of behind. There's a lot of behind. Let me finish before you say no. Let me. There's a lot of behind the scenes of things and forces that come together to help you achieve something or do something or receive something. There are a lot of people that are their family lines have already cleared out a lot of this, and it's just easier for them to receive that. Is this better now? I'm hearing yes, yes. So a lot of this is easier for people because their families cleared that out a long time ago, um, and they've who whatever family member did that hard work and decided to keep that and pass it down around and pass that mentality and that way of living and thinking in life. There are a lot of things that are given to you. It's just learning how to say yes and working with what you're given. Some people it's something they have to learn. Um, so I guess I guess maybe this is my marker point. A half an hour is good enough, right? So any recaps? So the balance of you is the light and dark. You know that this the realm. I mean, it's harsh out there now, right now, with people protesting and the war on its way and all this other stuff. So it's a lot going on. Um, Pick a side. It's time to pick a side. Period. So, um, and I hope you pick the right one. You know, of course, we are spectrums of energy. So, you know, you want to pick the good or evil, and it's a huge mentality for humans. So pick good, pick helping, pick loving, pick supporting others, um, pick resolving your own issues and not projecting. This world is built on projecting of someone did this to me, they should pay for it. This is someone else's fault. So once humanity stops pointing the finger, um, or doing that whole thing where turning the finger back at themselves and saying it starts with me. So what problems am I having? Are they unresolved issues in me, or is it truly this person? Or am I sensing that they have unresolved issues and I'm just putting up a defense shield instead of saying, well, I'm sorry that you're hurt, like do you want to talk about it? um and that's a whole game, and this is so tricky. Humans are so tricky, and if you get me on that topic I will get so fired up. Whew. And you won't even know whose side I'm on, because I'm on everybody's side, but I'm trying to speak for the spirits, um, and that spectrum, and the humans, and our spectrum, and I'm trying to speak for both sides, and it's complicated to try to communicate these things because there are so many lost humans. It's ridiculous. Human spirits. I've crossed over so many spirits, not just humans. A lot of people, a lot of spirits. I'm gonna get into this real quick before I finish. A lot of spirits. Here comes crazy stuff. So if you're done with all the wonderful work on yourself stuff, you could stop right now. But this is about to get into a little crazy stuff. So, as some people would say, or normal for a lot of others. I've crossed a lot of spirits over. I had an elven, uh, like elder, like grandmother, bring a bunch of spirits. Like there was crazy. There was a lot of spiritual activity, and I had to learn what I was and what I could do. So I would come around to go to my door, and bam, it was just this whole backyard was lit up with little. They weren't orbs. They had form, like kind of a vague form, but a bunch of little like colored just lights, a bunch of little spirits all out around here, and I crossed them over, and everyone crossed over, and I looked over, and I was like talking to well, of course, I had to question who she was, but I talked and I said, "Why do you want to go? Don't you want to go? Why you're just sitting?" And she was just sitting. She had more of a human form. Was sitting, just sitting over on the tree, just hanging out. I was like, don't you want to go over too?" Um, and so then I had to, further investigate and say, what are you? And I could feel, and I was like, "Oh, you're a fairy." So we communicated. Well, she, I think, might be that fairy grandmother that I had an experience when I was younger. Or this fairy elder, which I have fairy or elven. Sorry, elven. I'm a little blend of elven and fairy energy. A lot of people are, a lot of good fairies out there. Whew. Fairy energy is great, and it doesn't mean gay. It doesn't mean gay. I'm talking about fairies and spirits. Gay people are cool too. I know. Wink, wink. Anyway, So anyway, she just didn't want to go, but she's helping me out. So there's a lot of spirits that will help out with other things. So I had to learn that I crossed over stuff. I've crossed over a lot of other things too. Crossed over some demons. So the end times, like it's time to clear out stuff. It's time for there are spirits ready to cross back over that have been held here or cast out. If you want to follow the Bible, there, as my cousin brought to mind, and it totally like we were talking about different things, and he was like, "Oh, well, God cast down a third of heaven," and it's just like whoosh. I was like, well, that I think I said this was my inside voice because I was like, well, that explains why there are all these other energies here. What's a third of heaven? I don't even know. I mean, what do you know what heaven is? Heaven's huge and vast, and there's different levels. But I mean, that's a lot. I mean, you think about energy, it really can be small. That's a lot of beings. So it explains a lot of other things in different cultures and different history books and different versions of recordings of pastimes, the Quran and all those other books. It's just the one I can think of right now. Of course, more America, the Bible, the Bible, the Bible, the Bible. So very interesting. So things are moving back. I get approval to say certain things, and this devil has been called back a long time ago. Long time ago. So if you think about the ultimate negative voice, follow the angel that was cast down, long time ago, has been called back. He wasn't ready, accepted coming back, wasn't ready to leave. So he's on his way out as he comes closer to the earth realm. How else do you want me to say that? As his energy, excuse me, I'll say it this way. His energy passes through the earth, human realm. I'll say it that way. No, earth realm. Fine. Sorry, we're getting nitpicky. Earth realm. Pass through the earth realm. That is going to have a huge effect on humanity. It's already kind of starting. In other ways, it's just going to escalate. But so the Satan is on his way back up. And his time's over, and there's other punishment he'll have to follow, will be received or given, or didn't get clarity on that one too much because I'm not that level yet. I don't know. I'm trying to level up all the way, but anyway, I'll get that more information later. But so anyway, he's got to go back to heaven to finish out his punishment. If you want to say punishment, I mean the biggest punishment God, if you want to call it that, he just really gives you space and time away from him, so you can really kind of work on yourself. He's always there. We'll give you a second to figure it out, and you can come back. So if you got to get pissed off for a minute, I've had my brief little tantrums where I had to kick and scream. And it's like as soon as I was finished getting out the anger, and not hurting anyone or anything else, finally realized just to turn to God and start working on my anger with God, and really having it out with him and yelling and screaming and pissed, saying whatever the hell came out of me. Which a lot of times it was like hell was coming out of me. Some words, let me tell you, but I was releasing this pain. He was pulling it out of me. He was working with me, and I was choosing to work with God. Humans couldn't do any of this for me, so I had to work with God to get this out. And there are people I've told before in sessions, I'm like, you've got to go to God on this one. There's no other information I would have for him except for that, because